I finished my Roblox strategy game, but let me tell you, the process was not easy. The plan? Create an RTS game, something like this game I loved called Medieval RTS. But where do you even start if only the owner of MRTS made a tutorial just for me? And that's how I got unit movement working. Here's one of the oldest clips I have of selection and movement. Not very impressive, but hey, it worked. After I got unit selection working, the next logical thing was adding teams so you could only select your own troops. It instantly made it feel more like a real strategy game. From there, I started layering in the essentials. Troop training became a way players could grow their army. Money became the resource you needed to manage. Units finally had health, which meant battles could actually happen. And with that came attacking, range indicators, and eventually adding the attack beams. Once basic combat was in place, the next key element was buildings. So I started simple, placing and rotating buildings, following along with the tutorial. Of course, it can't just be drop a building anywhere, so I added placement rules, such as placing near your pieces, avoiding collision with other structures, and keeping your distance from enemy territory. To balance it further, I next added the capacity limits for buildings and units. The crucial part was introducing builders. Now you have to manage your builders as the central part of development. I first got the functionality of the building being built, and then added a simple animation of the building rising out of the ground. With the foundations of combat and building now in place, I started filling in the rest of the core mechanics. Buildings could now be sold or upgraded. A cool feature is that there can be multiple paths to upgrade buildings, adding for some more strategy. I also added another button that allows you to build walls between towers. This really made the base building feel complete. I finally got the core game loop set up with the map voting, thanks to a how-to Roblox tutorial, and added an end screen once there's only one castle remaining. On top of that, I wanted the game to feel more social, so I added alliances so players could actually team up. I know what some of you may be thinking. Everything you've done is pretty much a copy of Medieval RTS, and you'd be correct. That's because the original goal was just to recreate the game. However, at this point, I realized I should try to make something unique. And to speed things up, let's do a lightning round. Added unique art for units and buildings. Added a new map, Moss Heart. Replaced farms with farming areas, requiring a windmill to be placed first, with farms that could be added around. I added siege machines, a sanctuary, a special building exclusive to Moss Heart. Added gates to improve bases that can also open and close to let units in. Hero selection at the start of rounds with special abilities that can be activated upon command. The Arcane Desert map with magic towers and magic units. Frozen Wasteland map with the Viking hideout and Viking units. But by the time I got here, I hit a wall. I started doubting the game's quality, and I had no idea how to advertise. The whole reason I even started YouTube was to show off my work. But without it, I ended up not doing anything for almost a year because of... I had two new goals. Remove the awkward gameplay and add more depth to the game. The hero abilities were poorly coded, so I removed them. Likewise, the new farming system was a cool idea, but you had to be very specific on placements, or you'd miss potential income. To fix this, there's now 4 different resources: gold, wheat, wood, and stone, with brand new sawmills and mines added to produce wood and stone. To add more depth, I also added some other things. Tired of land units? Yeah, me too. So I moved them into the water. And that's how you make boats. Just make sure the land units can't enter the water. The hardest part was adding the transport ships and fishing boats, since they required special coding. Of course, I also had to redo all of the old maps to add the new resources, and created new maps that include water. Lastly, I also added skins. I wanted there to be some sort of progression from playing, so you earn more gems from winning, and you can purchase cosmetics for both your units and buildings. Once again, it felt like the game was done, but I wasn't satisfied. I should have released it then, but I wish the game was better and felt like it needed a couple more changes. Of course, school started again, so let's skip. Welcome to 2025. The game is called Mini Kingdoms now. Guess what? We have a lobby now too, and a game pass. I also have a video on the game. It wasn't very good, but the small amount of views gave me motivation to keep making videos. The only issue is the game's code looks like this. I'm sure it won't be that hard to fix. Before even joining the game, you'll notice a logo change. Here's the old one versus the new one. I won't go over all the changes, but the main additions include new lighting, major mobile support overhaul, and changing data saving to use Profile Store. In fact, I was so intrigued by the Profile Store library, I even made a short about it. And here's the full list of changes if you care. And now I can say the game is officially released. But before ending the video, I want to explain some of my thoughts on the project. Is the game perfect? No. But I'm proud of what I created. The biggest lesson I learned is that it doesn't matter if your game becomes the next big hit on Roblox. What matters is creating something you're genuinely proud of. Once you've built that foundation, you can always grow, improve, and take those lessons into your next project. And with that, I thank you for watching.